Welcome to the No Guilt Fangirls podcast, where liking what you like is never a bad thing. Here's your host and head fangirl in charge, Patty Holiday.
Hey y'all, welcome to the No Guilt Fangirls podcast. I'm your host and head fangirl in charge, Patty Holiday. First off, just a reminder to please leave those reviews and 5 stars on Apple for me. It's super appreciated and it helps other fangirls find us. It's no fun to fangirl alone. Speaking of, I am not fangirling alone today. I have live and in person an actual, I get to record with somebody today. I'm so excited. We're live from one of our favorite places. Some would say the most magical place on earth. Not the happiest, people. It is not the happiest. It is the most magical. Please get that right. Also known as Walt Disney World. We just got back to our hotel room from Epcot, and I've got Twitter famous Gertie the Dino with me.
I like how every time that is always it's from Twitter. Gertie the Dino from Twitter.
Well, I mean, you do other stuff too.
I do, but that is my
that's your thing.
That's my number one.
and we love Twitter,
yes.
And I love you on Twitter. So yeah. Gertie the Dino, also known as Theresa Mabe. You guys have heard her before. She's been on quite a few episodes with me, my unofficial co-host, basically. Yeah.
I'm just happy you always have me back.
Always. Love it. Love it. All right. How are you doing?
I am super emotional.
Yep. Yeah. That's why we're doing this. That's why we had to sit down and have this discussion for the podcast. First, before we get there, though, tell everyone where we can find you online, and then we'll get into this little show that we're calling hashtag Not IllumiNations.
So, as you mentioned, on Twitter, I'm at Gertie the Dino. You can also find me on my blog. It's insightfullife.com, and also at insightfullife on Instagram.
All right. Like we said, we just walked back from Epcot, where we watched for the first time Epcot Forever, the new, what is it? They were calling it a new spectacle?
Yeah,
fireworks spectacular. It was something like that. Here's the thing. Theresa watched it for the very first time. She actually completely stayed away from all video, all commentary, all of that stuff. She put her blinders on. I watched Theresa watching it. I can't say I watched too much of the show because I was curious to see what your reactions were, and they did not disappoint. I will say that up front. It was amazing.
She got to see some of my sweet dance moves.
It was pretty exciting, pretty interesting. Let's talk about this. First of all, give me a little history about how you feel about IllumiNations so we can set the stage as to what this kind of meant for you.
So, IllumiNations across the board has been my favorite Walt Disney World fireworks experience. And it's less about the fireworks themselves, but it was about the music and the lyrics and just the whole sense of, we're just one large community. And, as people gather around the fire, we can all come together and make something great when we all come together. And it's just, I would hear the music. My whole thing is I love just Epcot in general. So I'm I would have the music and I'd play in my car and I would just start sobbing in my car, half the time on the way to work, which is not a good look to start the day. But it's just, I don't know, it brings all of my emotions to the very front. And I love it that much more for that, because anytime you can get that reaction from something you've seen 100 times, it makes it that much more special.
For sure. Well, I think your description, I think that explains why I didn't like it. Mm-hmm. Because apparently I was doing it wrong. I wasn't watching it with you. I honestly being with you, and you're so passionate about Epcot in general, which, by the way, we took a picture today, which is hilarious.
Especially if you listened to the other Epcot episode that we did.
Yes. Teresa's not impressed with Guardians of the Galaxy, where I'm screaming and yelling, yes, Guardians of the Galaxy is going to Epcot! And so we had to have a fun little photo stop.
And I'm sure Patty will add that to the
I will absolutely add it to the blog page if you guys want to check it out on noguiltfangirl.com. So it's been fun. It's been fun spending some time with Theresa in Epcot, because I know what this place means to you. So we wanted to watch the show. We got a great shot. We got a great spot. Mm-hmm. Where did we watch it from?
We watched it from the...
Oh, wait, is this a secret? Do we want to announce this? I don't want to get hate mail.
I think we can, because, it's getting a little more crowded, but it's a great spot to watch it. So if you go into the Japan Pavilion, and if you go over to where the restaurants are and go up the stairs, so you're watching from the balcony of part of the pavilion, it's, for some people it might not be their favorite spot, and for me, not having seen this, that's where I would watch IllumiNations from. And not having seen this show, I'm like, there could be better areas around World Showcase to watch, but it's a great, it's an elevated view, so you do get a different perspective, and you can see a little bit more of just like the wider range of everything happening.
Yeah, and the Japanese, the Japanese art. Yeah, the art. Well, sorry, we're right in front of you, and it just kind of frames the fireworks and the action that was going on. So I liked it. Like I thought the view was fine. There are trees in the way in some places, so that's FYI. But yeah, so we watched it from up there. And like I said, I watched you. And when it first started, the reaction on your face, I mean, it was adorable.
Well, because they have Walt Disney speaking like 10 seconds into it. And I'm just like, what are you doing to me? So and I knew, like I said, so the show is 95% based on Epcot music. And, music from the parks. And again, I think in the previous Epcot podcast, I mentioned that, like, in my top 3 things about Disney period, Epcot music is up there. So I was excited for the show in terms of that. But then to hear Walt speaking about his original ideas, speaking about Epcot, I was just like, oh, it's just the feels right away. You're just getting me.
And I'm not a huge Epcot nerd. As I confessed in that Epcot show, I basically go to Mexico and go back to Mexico.
Hey, guess what? We went to Mexico.
We went to Mexico tonight. But anyway, is this the first time that Walt's voice has been used, like in any way like this, actually in Epcot, or just? I mean, obviously, this is the biggest grand scale thing that we've seen.
I think because IllumiNations had been going on for over 25 years. So I would say yes, in terms of something like this. I would imagine that maybe in some of the pavilions, like how right now they have, they also have Walt speaking in the Epcot Experience area. Where
but that's like brand new.
Right, it's brand new. So I love Epcot. I'm not going to say that it has never happened, because I'm sure somebody will correct me.
Correct. If somebody knows, just tweet at Gertie the Dino.
No, actually, please do, because then we'll have a long conversation about it. And anybody who cares enough to look that up, I want to be your friend.
That's right. I'd just be curious. But I'm a huge Walt person. Like, Walt's my thing, by the way. But I saw this on the live feed, so I knew it was coming, and I wanted to see how your reaction was, because I knew you didn't know what was coming. But it didn't disappoint. It was cool. I couldn't get any really great pictures because the lighting.
Quite dark.
It was very dark. But Theresa, you guys just have to believe me. She was definitely nerding it out, and just Twitter would be proud.
Yes, I was singing along to Listen to the Land, and that's one of the parts. It's just an instrumental part, but again, I'll have the song on my phone, and I may have some hand motions that I do along with it at times, because we've established giant nerd.
Big nerd. But, yeah.
So, in terms of, I couldn't have asked for more from the music they selected. It was from all eras of Epcot. It was music from Future World. They had music from the American Adventure. I think it was a great mixture, and some of it was instrumental. Some of it was actually, they had a group come in to perform new versions of the song, but still very true to the original ones. So I know Patty said I avoided everything. I would say I did hear about 2 comments. One I'll save for later. I know some people had issues with the kids. So the person who narrated IllumiNations passed away.
Oh.
And so they, and I think especially with doing a new show, they wanted to have new things come in. So they have kids sing some lines, from the attractions. I think singing 1 or 2 of the songs. I know some people really had a problem with that.
Interesting.
I didn't. I mean, to the point, it is Disney. And I would prefer to actually hear the lines from the attractions as they were. I would have loved to have heard Dreamfinder's voice.
Sure.
I would have prepreferred that. However,
it was fine.
I'm not mad about the choice that they made. Okay. So I know that's been a complaint, but it didn't bother me, especially mixed in with everything else. I'm just I just play more Epcot music.
From not that anybody cares what I thought.
I always care what you think.
Oh, thanks, Theresa. But from somebody who didn't find, Illuminations precious, or I'm not like super tied to that. I didn't even realize that was an issue or a thing. I thought it was cute. I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm saying from the average, like, park goer who's hearing this, it's going to be a blip. Like it wouldn't be, or wouldn't even blip, I guess.
For anybody who's used to any other fight, like, who's used to Wishes or,
for sure.
Like any of those, I'm like, it's not going to phase. Like, they'll be like, that's what they expect from Disney and from Disney fireworks. So
yeah, I like the fireworks show well enough, but the fireworks and watching shows is not my thing. I'd much rather be on rides or in Mexico.
And I typically would, except for Illuminations.
Except for this one, yeah. All right, so was there a favorite standout moment? Was there anything that kind of hit the right notes in all the ways that you really went?
So, like I said, I didn't have any I'm so... Well, so then when they did veggie, fruit, I just think it's hilarious. So the fact I thought that was amazing. No, I think the moment for me that, the emotion really started to bubble up was when they did Golden Dream... Well, they did Golden Dreams from American Adventure, and then when they started doing the Mela from Tapestry of Nations, because again, that's, that was something that they would play after Illuminations ended. Like when people were getting ready to leave the park, they would play the music from Tapestry of Nations. So I thought that was a really nice add-in to, link back to the previous show. And it's just fun. Like I would just kind of dance through Epcot as I was leaving. I was really happy they had both of those in there, but it was Golden Dreams. When I heard that, that's when I started to feel like, oh, there might be some water coming out of my eye area. Yes.
Okay, was there any moment in this show that you might have, I don't know, turned and looked at me with a kind of a disgusted look on your face? I'm just guessing that might have happened.
So towards the end, when you think they're finally having this big closing, it's all Epcot music, and then they toss in A Whole New World, which, and like I said, it's funny. I think it's funny. Like, I'm going to make that face because, as, if you've heard the other podcast, I have no problem saying I have some issues with the Disneyfying of Epcot.
Right.
Even though it's it's in Disney, and I think in certain areas I don't mind it. Like, adding Ratatouille to the France Pavilion, totally get that. Like having characters in World Showcase, I'm like, I totally get it. We've established I really don't like Guardians in what I see them whatever they're calling Future World now. I haven't adopted the new names yet. But so they started playing A Whole New World from Aladdin, and I initially I'm just cringe. However,
and when I questioned it, because I cringed too, and I was giggling and I was laughing about it, and when we walked down the stairs and I said, do you want to talk about this? and I said, I didn't think it was bad. I enjoyed it, except the Whole New World did stand out to me, and that it did jump out at me. I said, and I didn't get it. But you actually had some very thoughtful thoughts on this.
Well, and this took 10 minutes after she'd asked that question, because this was my first time seeing a show that's not Illuminations. So
I was not Illuminations.
I was having some moments, and it snuck up on me way more than I would have expected. I was still having my moment of mourning for not having that show. As just
she was crying, guys, and as we're walking and crying, I looked at her and I said, well. I said, do you need a moment? And I was a little confused, to be honest. I thought maybe she thought it was that good because I knew how much you love all those songs. So that was my first inclination, was that you were crying happy tears that they brought all this amazing stuff back. And I was like, oh, she's such a Disney nerd. And then she was like, I just need a moment. This is the first time no Illuminations, and I'm walking out of Epcot, and and she cried.
Yeah. And like I said, and that's just, I have no shame in that. And, I lost something special to me. And that's no reflection on the show that they have right now. It's a temporary show, so they're coming out with something in a couple months called Harmonia. So it's no reflection on what currently is there. It's just the first time experience, not having something that I'm just so used to, and that was always such a highlight for me.
That makes total sense.
Yes.
What were your thoughts? Tell us what you thought about A Whole New World.
So, like I said, it still bugs me. However, I understand, the Future World, as they announced at D23 Expo, once they finished all the work that they're doing, Future World doesn't exist anymore. They're giving it different neighborhoods. And so I understand using that both as a tie-in to the next show, which is going to feature Disney music, and this kind of being like a placeholder for the Epcot fans, which that's the part I have some slight issue with, that they're like patronizing us by like, have this, but we're taking it all away. But so I think that they're kind of establishing like a new world is coming, especially to the Future World side of the park. A new world is coming for Epcot. They even tied in, they brought, they had Walt speaking right before they played it or right after, saying, talking about, Epcot and is always going to be evolving.
You're correct. You're right.
So I'm like, I understand why they did it. I totally get the motivation behind it. And so with that, I don't hate it as much as you probably would have expected me to. Like I said, I still don't love characters. I still think that part is super cheesy, and I wish it was just a straight Epcot tribute, and I wish that I want to have that all the time. But like it feels somewhat appropriate given the direction that they're going.
That makes total sense. And I will just say you continue to amaze me and surprise me, because I really thought we would get a good old rant on that one, but no, it was actually. I mean, I like it. Yeah. I like it. All right. Well, anything else that you want to say about the show for anybody who hasn't seen it or who has concerns about it? Who's excited by it?
Right.
Like how would you wrap it up? What would you say with Epcot forever? # not IllumiNations.
I will say I really, really hope that somebody soon gets a MP3 of it so I can listen to all of these Epcot songs together and maybe cut it off at the Aladdin part.
At the Aladdin.
Like I said, if you appreciate Epcot history, if you have really, over the throughout, if you've enjoyed any attraction at Epcot, chances are there will be a song in here that you can connect to. I know you were saying when they were doing the music from Soarin', that was like a moment that really tied you in.
I love the Soarin' music, yeah.
So, like I said, I think if you've been going to Epcot for a while, you'll find something you will enjoy about this show. If you have never been to Epcot before, if it's your first visit and seeing this, it might make you interested in like, oh, I want to see what some of these attractions were. And, maybe we'll get a new generation of retro Epcot fans who were never there. And I appreciate it for what it is. I think I don't know if it's something I'm going to watch every time. And again, I think that's more so just, I'm miss, like that's just, me and IllumiNations, that's my thing. So I might not watch it every time, just depending on maybe in like another couple months I'll do it again and not in between it. Moment.
I hear you.
But I think it's very good for what it is, and especially for being a temporary show. Like they took a lot of time and care into producing it, and so I respect that.
It felt respectful to me. I mean, it felt like it was for the fans. Like it was for you, for y'all that are out there that really just love it. But again, you know me, I'm not precious about those things. I'm definitely it's okay for most things in Disney to change. I mean, I'll have some I would have, if they did anything massive for like say Haunted Mansion or tried to do something crazy with It's a Small World, I would say if they turned It's a Small World into Marvel It's a Small World, even I would get a little upset there.
I was like, wait, where is this going?
Even I would get a little upset there because I can't, no. But, for the most part, that was my impression, is like, I also understand some of the concerns that I've seen online, but for the average person that's going to go and is looking for a nighttime spectacular, they're going to be happy with it. They may not understand even the music or the significance, but the music itself flows nice enough to me, and the fireworks, I felt like there weren't as many, or it was a little low. Yes. They cheaped out a little bit. I don't know.
And some of it, and I think that's something I would have to watch it again, because since I was taking it all in, I'm like, I can't really compare it in terms of like the actual firework bursts to Illuminations, because I knew so well. I knew when like everything was happening, so I was very hyper focused on just what was in front of me.
Right.
So it's something I would like to even like watch a video from another angle and see if there's something. It was weird not having the globe.
It was weird.
In the center, like they do have kites with lights on them, and I think that was also something that I'm just like, I did not have my one focal point. Too, that I was expecting.
I don't know how I feel about the kites. They're kind of funky looking.
It made me with the kites. So my thought with that is because they've talked about, again, at the 23 Expo, they mentioned that there's going to be like a stingray type thing going through Spaceship Earth.
This makes more sense.
And to me, like that's kind of, I think from the concept art, that's what it looked like to me. So my thought is that's another tie-in to the next phase of Epcot. Like that, I think
paid a lot more attention than I did, because I didn't get the stingrays. I'm like looking at you going, stingrays?
I can't see very well. To me, they look like stingrays.
No, they kind of did. No, honestly, they did. That's what I was trying to figure out what they looked like, and that's why I said funky, because I couldn't figure out what it was.
That's my impression, and I could just be putting that, I could be making, that might not be what it is.
You could be making it up, we don't
know. But that's, to me, that's kind of, from what I remember the concept art looking like.
Okay.
That was around that.
All right. Well, we are rope dropping extra magic hours tomorrow, and it's getting late, so we out.
Yes.
Go ahead. Like I said, please leave those reviews, the 5 stars. Appreciate it. Please, please, please. And thank you. And come back and fangirl with us again real soon.
Yes.
Thanks, Theresa.
Thanks for having me again.